Good start. All right, welcome to Trap Souls. I'm here with Craig, Mark, Aaron, and Savage Energi, Kelsey and April. It's gonna be a rough one.
Please don't cut off.
As I always say, I'll probably edit the crap out of this, but that's fine. So we were over at Kelsey's and April's the other day, last month, 2 months ago.
The other day.
I don't even remember.
I don't know.
Every day it just comes together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did with them. They're Savage Energi. They're from Perry. They've been doing this for how long?
I've been doing it for probably 10, 15 years. Savage Energy's been around for three.
Three.
Our anniversary is like May.
Well, happy anniversary. Because I'll forget by me.
So will we.
Right.
So this one, we just want to get to know them a little bit for our viewers. And so obviously they've been around for 3 years. April's been doing it a lot longer. I know Kelsey has had experiences. She was young. What is the one experience when you were young? We're back.
But were we ever really here?
Yeah, it just turned out. So Kelsey, we're back. So what was your one experience when you were younger that you thought, okay, maybe I have a gift or like I want to do this?
I used to get like a feeling that like somebody was like around me, but then all of a sudden I would get like their voice like trying to get my attention, or out of the corner of my eye I would like see somebody walk by. And then in my teenage years it was just I started to see people and I'd like, oh hey, how's it going? And realize that they're not like there.
No one else saw me.
Yeah, everybody's like, who are you talking to?
Not on
And I'm
this
like,
plane.
oh, yeah. And growing up at my grandparents' house, 2 doors down from that was my other grandma's house. It was haunted. So just in like the area that I lived in, almost every other house was haunted. So I was constantly seeing people.
April, you?
One of the houses that I grew up in was haunted. We would all be downstairs. You would hear people walking upstairs. You would hear the doors open and close. And one of the bedrooms had a little access in the closet to get into the attic. And every time you would look in there, you would see somebody there. We were kids and we didn't play with it. And then the place we lived after that was the same thing. You would hear them walking up and down the hallways. My friends and I, we used to play with Ouija boards like most kids did back in that day.
I heard Kelsey loves Ouija boards.
Oh,
No.
And we had an experience where the girls, it was her Ouija board, and started saying some pretty odd things. And then the lights went out, we got scared. We threw the Ouija board, and then she kind of levitated about 3 feet off the floor and started yelling at us in a growly voice, and that pretty much scared us from touching a Ouija board for many years.
Yeah.
But it also intrigued me at the same time, and so then, of course, when I was a kid, I was too afraid to pursue it. But as an adult, I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go figure out what in the world is out there that we don't see.
Okay, besides that.
Bit my foot.
Where'd you go?
Hey, besides that, I think it's neat. I mean, I'm sure Kelsey doesn't, that you had an experience. Sorry. You had an experience, but then you didn't run away from it. I mean, you said a few years, but then now you still use Ouija boards.
Yeah,
Kelsey,
they don't scare me anymore because
No.
now I know how to use them appropriately. Not saying that things can't happen. It's still possible. Anything that we do, it's possible. But
So, Mark, you're shaking your head like Ouija boards. I mean, we never really talked about Ouija boards.
Yeah, I just won't ever touch them. There's too much conflict with them. I mean, if you're looking at it from a realist perspective, anybody could be messing with it if you have a group and, trying to get views if you're doing a show or even just messing with your buddies. But on the other hand, if it's a real situation in a possessed location or something, I don't want to have something come out that doesn't need to come out and follow me. So I don't want to play with that stuff.
When you're saying like possessed location, are you talking about a place that already is known to have demons or not nice spirits, entities, whatever you want to call them? Is that what you're trying? Like,
I would say any situation. So like even just talking like, for example, Ross House, right? We didn't run anything scary or whatever, but I still wouldn't play with a Ouija board there because I don't want to draw something into somewhere where there's a lot of energy and people coming into the place and setting it up for someone else to potentially get hurt if something happens.
I get it.
Kelsey, did you ever use a Ouija board?
No, but my sister did. I was 13, 14, something like that, and my sister did. And as soon as they took it out of the box, my entire body just like hair standing on edge. I was like, no, this isn't good. I closed my door and I was like, don't. You just don't do it. And not even 5-10 minutes later, the girls, they start screaming. And the person that they were supposedly talking to was a classmate of my sister's that had passed away. But the person that was sitting next to me, talking to me while they're talking to the Ouija board, was not that person. And I took off running upstairs, and I was like, you all need to stop, like, right now.
Yeah.
And then all the candles went out, and I was like, no, we're done. I'm good. Nope.
I mean, you go either way. You go either like what April did, and, own it, I guess you might call it, or just be smart about it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm smart, but, but you learn the right way to use it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we did have other instances when I was a kid. We were using it and we were talking to a spirit who, she described herself in detail, where she was from, who she was, when she died. We went away to 6th grade camp. We actually found this girl in the documents that they had in the history center at camp.
That's pretty cool.
So that was pretty wild. We were like, how?
It's good when you connect it.
Yeah.
We did that at Ross House a lot with some of the stuff we got, like the Blue K and all that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's always like Ross House was cool, but when we went back and did the research, like stuff lined up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was cool about Ross House.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
We had a whole other experience at the Ross House.
Yeah. No.
It seems like they're having a lot more uptick.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what we experienced is going on now, where a lot of people are being influenced, I guess, and their personalities are changing.
I had a concussion, so I didn't have any influence.
You were fine.
Didn't they
Me,
say?
on the other hand,
Didn't they say that there was a? Oh my God, what is it called?
Chinchilla.
No.
Yeah,
Mark.
She is redoing the chinchilla room right now.
No. An elemental. Didn't they say that there was an
They
elemental?
think there's elemental that's
Yeah.
connected from there and Bel Air House.
Oh, there. Okay.
Mhm.
So they think it bounces back and forth.
well, that makes sense with where it is, but
Mhm.
what kind of an elemental are they thinking?
Okay.
Because that could tell you a lot of things. Some elementals do this, some elementals do that, some elementals don't even bother
Yeah.
humans at all.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting. I should send her a message because it would be interesting to see what kind of elemental they
I
think.
think it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I know there's a mimic at Bel Air House.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that they had
He's a
said.
mimic.
Yeah, he is. Who got called out? Somebody got called.
Shadowing to me. Called me to the kitchen. But Shadowing was outside.
Oh, that was at Bel Air. Oh no, I thought something like that happened at Ross House too.
All I heard was like someone sawing logs.
Loud too. I heard that.
I was in the basement and like there's some lumberjacks up there.
That's
I have never heard of chinchilla.
I
It's
was
impossible to guess
tired.
what that was.
I have
When-
twins, okay?
when half of our team was in the basement, one team member was upstairs sleeping. Her and I were in the living room, almost asleep, and they heard like running
Oh.
all over the floor upstairs.
Like somebody was going nuts.
Yeah, and neither her nor I had moved because at that
Okay.
point I was going through my I want to kill everybody thing.
Yeah.
And we have no idea.
Okay.
Are you supposed to when you don't feel that way?
Okay, this was different. This was not just I just want to kill everybody because I don't like people. This was I want to kill everybody because I really didn't like anybody at that moment.
All right, so that's Savage Energy. We're up. So, I mean, you guys did a lot of stuff last year, 2024. A couple things that stood out for Kelsey. Roll. You're in front of the video all the time.
No, my brain just likes to stop working. It wasn't like an investigation trip. When we went to Michigan though, we did like the hell
Mid-Michigan
Thank
Paracon.
you. We did the Mid-Michigan Paracon, and the area that we were in was just, I felt surrounded by people like all the time. It was amazing, and we actually want to go back so we can actually do an investigation just in the area itself.
You're like surrounded all the time, like spirits or just people.
Like spirits. I'm surrounded by spirits all the time.
Were they like comforting?
Oh, yeah, there wasn't anything that I felt that was negative, because if there was, I would have been like, no, get away from me. But there's different energies between like kids and like the adults. I'm usually like, the kids are usually more drawn to me than like the adults are. So I'm usually surrounded by like kid spirits all the time, and that's all that I felt. It was just kids.
Because your mom.
I know.
They all think of her as mom.
I don't know why.
I feel quite surrounded now by people.
Shut up.
So, April, you can answer this too, then you can give your answer to that. The question I had. Everybody thinks out there that paranormal is negative.
No.
I mean, because we just did a cabin, Reed's family cabin, and there was stuff there, but it felt comforting.
My own experience, out of everything, maybe 10 to 15% is negative. Maybe. I mean, unless you go to like, Mackey's or something like that, where that thrives on the negative. Most things aren't.
You think people are just scared because of?
I think they're scared, and I think sometimes what they think is negative is really just the spirit trying to get their attention.
Yeah.
Or, somebody gets something thrown off their shelf. They're going to think that's negative. No, they're trying to get your attention because they want to show you something or tell you something.
Like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
That kid pulling on your leg. Hey, how? Yeah.
The guy at my house
But-
likes to dump all stuff off the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the TV shows, negative is what gets the attention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I mean, it's hard because the more investigations we do, I'm seeing more of the positive influence. And like we did Ross House, like the coal miners being there. They died 5 miles down the road, but
Yeah.
maybe because we're asking questions.
Because you're shining, for lack of a better way to say it, you're shining a light, saying we want to communicate, so they come to you.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, and this is in the spiritual community itself, everybody is kind of saying the same thing, that there is an uptick in negative activity, but that's because the veil is thinning. It's constantly thinning over time. Right now it's the thinnest it's ever been. And the state of the world right now, I am not talking politics. I'm talking the whole
I couldn't
world.
help it.
We don't do politics on this show.
No, just the whole world and all the chaos. No, all the
Did you say
chaos,
Cheetos?
the negativity feeds
Yeah.
on that, and it makes it stronger.
Okay, you said veil because we're gonna get into this a little later in a different episode after this one. Is there like a measurement tool? Like, how do you know the veil is thinning? Is it a feeling?
It's a feeling, and it's the people who can communicate with spirit.
And the uptick in that communication
Yes.
that they would have.
The communication's coming clearer. More people are their abilities are coming
Mhm.
into focus, I guess. So that is because the veil is thinning. All these happen.
What did I do? I didn't even realize I did it. I'm sorry.
That's why my hands are here in my pocket.
I mean,
I know that's why I'm saying you're like this.
No, I was just.
holding my
and
cane.
Kelsey can even tell you her visions and everything is getting more clear. And I have had like little abilities my whole life, but even those are growing substantially right now.
Okay. I don't understand the whole veil, ley lines. Like, I looked up ley lines. I don't believe in them. Sorry. And that's for the next episode. I will play devil's advocate with anybody, and it's not because I don't believe in it, but there's people out there that have the same feelings I do.
Right.
So it's a good question to answer.
Yeah.
Like crystals. Next episode. Stay tuned.
The best way I can describe how I think of the veil is kind of like the ghost plane is here and our plane is here. So the little area that separates the two is just getting thinner and thinner and thinner until finally we just overlap and coexist.
like a dimension. Like,
Yeah.
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 Because there's dimension here, dimension here, and it's kind of like over there.
So is it
We're hand diving around the house. But yeah.
Yeah, question.
so potentially like global warming? Some believe it's not real,
Mm-hmm.
and some believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
So is the ozone layer half the effect of
Well,
veil?
considering that Florida just got snow.
It's more
Okay.
like global freezing at this point.
It's hell freezing over.
Yes.
And there'll be no hurricane.
That's a whole nother conversation because if you go by the reading, hell was originally frozen.
True.
Didn't we just do an episode
Yes,
about
we
that?
did.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna keep going here. Take it. Make a copy.
It's like 6 different episodes in one.
That's pretty much how we do
That's
it.
what we get yelled at for that
Yeah.
every
This will be
time.
10-minute segments divided up.
Yeah.
So last year, what was your main? Like there's always one thing like, yeah, this is it. I'm gonna continue doing this. Like you're obviously you always continue
I
doing this.
know if it was last year or if it was the end of the year before when we went to the Opera House in Kentucky, Cynthiana, Kentucky. And we had an incredible Estes session with a young man. Or no, it was a little boy. It was the little boy of this guy. And he was, no, it wasn't. It was the guy. It was the dad that we talked to. He was a young Black man back in the day, and he worked outside on the fields, whatnot. And he was in a relationship with a white girl who was like, how did we say this politically correct? She worked at the Opera House, but they ran things on the side after hours at the Opera House.
That's what we learned.
They were secretive.
Yes.
Okay.
So he was in a relationship with her. She ended up getting pregnant. They had a little boy. He was kidnapped and dragged. It's her.
No.
It's her.
He was kidnapped and dragged behind a truck until he died.
Do they know what year approximately? Or?
Probably back in our research we do, because we went back and tried to track everything down. But it was interesting while we were having this conversation with him.
I was
Her
having
and
a whole other
another
conversation.
girl were on the other side of the wall having a conversation, and all of our answers tied in together.
Oh wow.
She was talking to the little boy. The little boy wanted to go home with her because he missed his mom.
Yeah, that was an emotional one. Because I would ask questions, they would get answers. They would ask questions, we would get answers. And then finally, when everybody came back into the room, like we wrote everything down, and I was like, well, I asked this question, but this is the answer that you got. And that's when we started putting 2 and 2 together, that everybody that we were talking to is from the same family. and doing all of our research and whatnot, as we found out that there was a family. And I cried that night.
I'm just getting a lot of glare out the window.
Like, what did I do?
There's somebody standing
That's
on the
good.
other side.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah,
no.
it was-
No, I just seen this ball of light, an orb coming through.
Oh,
the
it's-
window.
Oh my God, no.
I thought there was a shadow watching.
Possible. It's behind them. They can't see it's fine. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
I don't care.
I know
When we
you
do
don't.
our podcast at our kitchen table, we always have a shadow figure that shows up in the corner.
Or we have people that giggle out the window.
Yeah,
Ew.
that's
It's great.
normal. That's
Don't like
no-
it. I know, I
that's-
don't like it.
That's normal at my
I
house.
All right, so we'll go through.
He's like, shut up.
Shut up. We'll go through our group. Aaron, what was the one experience? I know what the answer is, but you can tell them quickly. Not read fashion.
55 seconds.
55 seconds for us.
And go.
What was the one experience that was like, okay, like this is awesome. I'm gonna keep continuing this. Or this sucks. Like I might want to rethink my.
It obviously it was Bel Air House when I was attacked in the basement, and it. Again, I've had experiences in the past with other entities and spirits and what have you. I mean, at our old house, we had his great times, 5 grandmother show up, and I mean, it was one of those things that regardless of what happened, I always knew that I would continue to do this.
I know. So you and Sarah are gonna do a duel on Bel Air House before we go in there.
Jesus Christ.
We
Okay.
voted on it at the cabin. There's only 4 present. 3 said yes. 1 said no.
Was it Bird that said no because he understands?
It was great.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, thank you.
You're digging a hole because I know better.
So, and I asked Craig, like, you wanted to go back there right after.
Yeah.
Like, you're like,
Mhm.
I have a feeling when you pull up there, you're going to have a little different feeling.
I don't think so.
We'll find out. Stay tuned.
tuned.
June 18th.
Ryan, would that be the big trip?
It's the big trip.
Wow.
The big trip. So I'm doing Old Hospital on Couch Hill.
Okay.
A 45-minute solo before anybody steps in there.
Okay.
Craig's doing Post Town.
Okay.
So we're going to do a little solo action. I might be solo the whole time. The whole big trip, I might be solo.
Okay. Have fun.
I love solo.
I know you do.
I think you should do a solo.
I would, honestly. At this point,
Okay, well, she's going to Bel. You heard it. Bel Air House, first out.
it's not going to be pretty, but yeah.
No, I mean, Ross House is so small and it's very
Right.
comforting. But we might send someone to Ross House too.
Mhm.
Do a little Ross House investigation.
And before you ask a question, I want to ask a question.
Oh dear.
Roll.
And it's going to be directed at that
Ooh.
lovely human being sitting over there.
Would this be a domestic dispute?
Not yet.
Yeah, never. Where are you stance-wise as of right now, this moment, and your feelings after everything that you've? I'm asking. Shut up. Let me finish. After everything that you've dealt with this group, and with living and being married to me for 16 years.
Teetering the line still.
How the fuck are you teetering the line?
I haven't been slapped yet. Hey, we do that, then I'll go, okay.
April, have you ever
Put a
been
hook up.
slapped?
I've not been slapped. I've been scratched.
Hey, something along those lines, a physical touch.
I've
Yeah,
been pushed, scratched.
it push me, slap me, scratch me.
Hook it up.
That's what it's going to take for me to go,
Okay.
oh, okay.
Not watching, literally watching people walk. I'm not going to hate you, I promise. Watching people walk. How?
That's my line in the sand. That's what it's going to take.
I'm going to knock you out too. Get out of your head over there.
I'm just listening to the dispute.
Read it. What was yours?
I'll keep it quick because I don't like to talk much. I lived in a house in Conneaut. Had a lot of haunting things go on where people would walk through doors would open on their own. You could hear their footsteps coming up to you. And I was hit when I lived in that apartment. So that's what really got me into it. And that's where I'll leave it.
Didn't you have an experience when you lived in Jersey?
No, Connecticut.
Okay, in Connecticut.
That was my turn.
Sorry.
Just rude.
Oh, you want me to talk about it?
Well, obviously.
It was a 1800s house. I don't remember exactly what year, but it was split into two different apartments. I had the top floor. The main floor was kitchen, living room, bathroom. Went up the steps, and there was two bedrooms. And every night at midnight, we laying in bed and you hear footsteps come up the steps. We one beep the smoke detector, disappear. Just about every night. When it first started happening, of course, I'm out there running, looking, didn't see nothing. After about a week of seeing nothing, I went, all right, go try that smoke detector.
I talked about mine on a few episodes. So just when I was younger, seeing a full apparition in one of the rooms in my house I grew up. That's all I'm gonna say about that because I'm not gonna keep repeating myself. Good.
Good.
Mhm.
What's
Did
your
you
plan?
get Connecticut from Conneaut? Is that where that came?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. That was the 80s.
I was trying to see where that went from.
What are you guys' plans this year? Savage Energy. Big news. Come on.
We
News.
do have something planned. We just have not talked to
we can't talk about
Ooh,
the big guy
secret. Okay.
yet,
No,
and then we'll be able to
See?
talk about it.
Yeah.
like there's places we got that we want to do, but we can't
We-
say because
We do want to go to. We want to get to the Bel Air House this year.
Mhm.
We want to get back to the Opera House.
I would like to go to the Opera House, honestly.
I would like to go back to the Ross House.
If we go back to the Opera House, you're driving through downtown Cincinnati and over the bridge.
Well, I drove the roller coaster bridge in New York, so okay.
Okay.
what's one place you really want to investigate this year that you guys haven't moved besides Bel Air, obviously. There's one place like we want to hit this year.
No.
You guys do a lot of private.
Yeah.
You guys help a lot of people out. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
We don't ever really like plan anything, honestly. It just kind of one of those things where it pops up on Facebook and we're like, dude, let's go.
Yeah.
And that's how we make our
We
plans.
usually
That's
last minute.
so
Yep. We'll be like, hey, we're leaving this day, we'll be back this day, and then we just go.
Who wants to go?
That's how I work.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
there's one place up by Chicago someone mentioned me about. Like they went with another group and I guess it's very active. I don't know what it is. It was on Facebook, but
Was it Excalibur, was it?
no.
Okay.
But they said it was some like small jail out there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I said, hey, I guess the trip to Chicago isn't planned. And he's like, anytime you come up, let me know. So
Those are the best
Have you guys ever looked into Regal Vineyard?
Mm-mm.
No, I've only been there for weddings, but I didn't know anything else about it until recently.
I guess it's super haunted.
It is supposed to be. Yes.
When they're open for their haunted house,
Mhm.
me and Aaron spoke to the owner. Hey, after your season, we'd like permission. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I've contacted them a few times and they haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to go during haunted house season.
She punches first and asks
That's
questions later.
where I was assuming this was going.
I
Ask
would,
Tegan, my son.
but he only had a bruise for a week. That's what he gets for running at me.
This is only fault.
It was.
Sorry.
I would love to do things like during Halloween time, but people can't keep them hands to themselves, and I get throat punchy.
The one thing that we're trying to get going this year, because last year just went too fast and we didn't get to.
Mhm.
We are trying to get a location where we can do a charity thing.
that's what I was trying to actually make our big trip into a charity thing. It just didn't work out. What I like to do, like, because we're talking about our summer
No,
coming
it's not
up,
you.
or like we had the big trip, so everybody knows about it. I put it on Facebook. But there's 4 places we're going 4 nights. Sorry, edit. But edit. Forgot that. Might as well take a drink. But yeah, we're doing Post Town Elementary. Then we're going to Old Hospital, Gotch Hill. Then we're going to do Bel Air and Ross House. I want to do them the same night, but it's just kind of like, let's do them separate because I want to hit both.
Right.
I'm being selfish. I want to hit both.
They're big locations too.
So there.
No, the
Yeah, that one. What are you talking about?
Poston College.
Okay. Anyways, so Ross House, we're gonna have Good Paranormal join us. I talked to them last year, and they're going through some personal stuff, so we were trying to get together with them then. So I offered it to them again. He wanted to do Bel Air, but none of his teammates
We'll step back.
will step back into Bel Air.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you guys have not gone.
No.
Correct?
No,
Okay.
we went to
That's I've
Ross.
contacted her a couple of times.
She doesn't really do too much. It seems like they
No.
have like 2 guys that.
Mhm.
Well, my husband used to do her website
Website.
for her.
Okay.
So when they
Yeah.
were talking, I contacted her a few times. But back then it was you could only rent it out for the weekend, and
Yeah.
we just couldn't come up with the money
Right.
for that.
Yeah.
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 Now they do it by night, so
Yeah.
it's nice. I mean, also I got it, so I'll send an invite out if you guys want to do Bel Air House. I think it's June
18th.
I don't
18th.
care what day it is. We'll be there.
Yes.
Aaron's like, you don't have a choice.
I don't.
No,
Well,
we don't
there-
because
there-
we're going.
Yes.
There's one catch. You're gonna have to come pick us up at the RV park.
That's
Okay.
fine. My SUV fits 9 people
Okay.
and somebody in the
That
trunk.
worked out perfect.
Yeah.
Did you plan that? Great segment.
Because once we leave Old Hospital, we're gonna go to RV park because we're gonna actually, Ross House is in Bel Air. We're gonna chill out there
Yeah.
for 2 days. I'm gonna try to think of something fun to do for our group.
I don't like when you think of fun things to do.
It
I
doesn't
get
sound
scared.
good.
Play a game.
No.
Jigsaw.
Nope.
So I mean,
If I see a little dude on the
I'm punching somebody.
so I
Right
mean,
hook, man.
obviously I do like playing games, and we'll play games every place
Mhm.
because it's fun. And for some reason, I can't convince anybody to play games.
Gee, I wonder why.
I'll always play a game.
Those were fun.
Yeah, games are fun. Well, anyway, so that's our big trip. We're excited about it. We got one more coming up in a couple weeks at the Hunters Inn, and that's all we have planned for next year is 5 places. Obviously, there's going to be more. Madison. I mean, we beat that thing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's right down the street.
Yeah,
so
that's the biggest thing.
Mhm.
what I'm thinking about doing with Madison is because we have a lot of people that want to do investigations for the first time. Is they want to know how we investigate and what tools we use. So I'm thinking about using Madison as like an educational investigation
Yeah.
and just inviting people that never done it before, which we always do,
Mhm.
but inviting more people and split up in 2 or 3s and show
Right.
them, the Wiccan sticks or whatever you guys want to use. When we got the tools,
Don't even just
what are they called?
Kelsey rods.
Wicked stick. Oh my god.
They're copper things that move left and right
Find water.
by human motion. You believe in dowsing rods?
I've seen them.
They always hug me.
So we had one group.
And our pendulums.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Human or otherwise.
Mhm.
we're gonna
people
quit this
get touched.
episode here and start our next one, which is gonna be awesome. So stay tuned. Thank you for the strepsils. We were here with Savage Energy. Follow them on
Everything. We're on
TikTok,
everywhere. TikTok.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook,
all
Lemonade.
all-
Lemonade.
Which I haven't done
What'd
one
you say,
yet. But
lemonade?
Lemonade.
yeah, it's a new thing that's connected with TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like Linktree.
I share us with your friends, share us with your enemies.
Yes.
Don't forget the merch.
I'll edit that out. Don't worry. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned. We're gonna be talking about crystals.